G'day, I'm Brian Pickering.
And I'm Kaye Brown.
And welcome to Food, Wine, Pets, Travel. Now, via Zoom, we've got Mike McKenzie. G'day, Mike.
Hi guys, how you going?
Now, your little office studio there looks a lot tidier than our caravan.
And a lot fancier.
Yeah, I do. I sort of do work professionally in the TV and live streaming market. So, yeah, he who dies with the most screens wins, I say.
Well, you win, and you certainly taught me a lot, and we've maintained the relationship, working relationship here and there. And I couldn't resist when you told us about the trip you're about to undertake, knowing full well how much you love motorbikes. Give us our listeners a bit of a hint of what you've just done.
Yeah, basically, yeah, my outside of all this fancy working stuff and all that sort of stuff, my passion is travel, and always has been, and part of that's been on motorbikes, and now it's moved to the next stage. As we do, I started off riding around the New South Wales and Victoria and Queensland on road bikes. My motorbikes go back to when I was 18, riding to Coffs Harbour Television, where I started as an apprentice. So over the time I've gone through that, and in recent times, in the last 3 or 4 years, I've got into adventure bike riding. So to put some context in that, it's the motorbiking falls into three categories. It falls into the road stuff, which is where super bikes are and all the crazy people really are. And then on the other end of the you've got the off-road guys who are also just as crazy on the little bikes that literally go off-road and cut through forests and tracks and stuff like that. In the middle, you've got what's called adventure biking. Adventure biking is those big GS BMWs and sort of Ducati things and KTM's that basically travel around Australia, and they're capable on bitumen and also on dirt and gravel roads, not so capable off-road and won't stay with the sports bikes. So it basically means you can go all those beautiful parts of Australia, and where you can get a four-wheel drive to, but you don't have to be a full-on off-road guy. So we've just done a trip. I had to go to a function on the Gold Coast and looking for an excuse to. It was a nice dinner, but fly to Gold Coast from Sydney in a working week. It's pretty boring, really. So I spoke to a couple of my riding buddies on another trip. We were down in the snowy mountains over the long weekend and said, "Yeah, what do you think about a couple of days up and back to up to the Gold Coast, predominantly on dirt roads?" And so we travelled from Sydney on the Friday, stayed overnight, all back roads, no highways. And a lot of that was dirt. I'm going to say it wasn't 50-50. It was less than what I was hoping for. I wanted more dirt than that, but it turned out the way we plotted it and the way we planned it, we ended up on that. So it was sort of overnight Armidale, arriving in on the second day, riding in Tweed Heads, overnighting, and then overnighting back to Kempsey and back to Sydney. And each day was in the vicinity of 550, 600 kilometres,
Wow.
8 to 9 hours in the saddle.
Well, what's really interesting, that's a long time. Like when someone's towing a caravan, we recommend no more than about 3 hours at any one time.
We aim for 2.
And speaking of safety, one of the things that impressed us with what your setup is at the moment is about safety, no matter where you're going. Tell us a little bit about what you do and how you do that, how you keep safe.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing is that, with all this technology that's around, we're actually freer in so many ways to do more than we've been able to do in the past. I grew up in Bellingen, which is in the Bellingen Valley, and that logging, all those beautiful mountains around Dorrigo, Waterfall Way, the Armidale Road. I would have never, as a young man, when I was riding my little 250cc Honda, gone off to explore because I didn't really, unless I knew an old logger, I didn't know that part of the world. And if I went out there, if I hurt myself, then it was all over because no one knew where I was. There was no mobile phones, there was no nothing. So we use it's a multiple. It's all about the planning where we want to go. So I'll get to that shortly. But we use Garmin InReach satellite EPIRBs. Now what that does is that it works only to satellite. Doesn't use telephone at all. So it goes straight up to the satellite. It's $40 a month, $400 for the unit. It's cheap as chips for your own safety. But what it does is that my wife is not a mocha buyer, so she's in Sydney, and she, is worried that I'm going to hurt myself. And
she can track you. She can track you down. She can watch where you're going.
Every 8 minutes, it sends a ping to the satellite. She goes on the website and he goes, there he is. And if I don't move, it also allows her to text through the same service. So if I don't move, so if I'm stopping for lunch, I'll send her a text to the satellite, say, stopping for lunch, be here for about an hour. so that whilst she can't actually see me, she's got the confidence, and I've got the confidence to go more places. Recently, I did have a fall. I was riding and came to a stop, and as I came to a stop, I hit some sand, and down I went, and the bike fell on my leg.
Ooh.
Ow.
And it was a crush injury, so it crushed my lower calf. But at the time, I felt like it had snapped it, and I was about 30 kilometers into the forest on a trail, not on a road, and
Mm.
there was no way an ambulance was going to get to me. So if the worst thing had happened, then I was a helicopter out, but I could have hit the go button on the emergency button,
Mm.
and they knew exactly where it was. It'd go straight to Canberra,
Yep.
give us that. So there's a few different versions of those around, but
Right.
I use just the mini. The device is quite tiny. It's only like a cigarette packet,
Yep. Yep.
less than a cigarette packet, and so that enables me to stay safe, is what I'm saying, and not be stressed about that.
Is it just
Um,
for motorbike riders, or could someone in a car, or someone even
absolutely,
running, or a boat?
absolutely. It comes with clips to go on your clothing. Comes with you can get a suction mount to put it on your dash. It's exactly the same devices, just a small version that the guys out at sea on boats use when they're fishermen. So hikers use it. It's universal, from caravans to motorbikes to push bikes to hikers to fishermen and people put them in their aircraft when they're flying, when they're little Cessnas and stuff like that. Exactly the same technology, and it's the same costing.